Hey guys, what's going on? Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. Much appreciated. Very excited to get back on the radio starting up on Monday, October 3rd. WQAM, our new home. Myself, Leroy, Marcos, J-Fig, the whole crew. And we're looking forward to being back with you guys. We miss you. We miss you. We miss the silly sauce. And this has been a hell of a week to be off. I tell you, there's been a ton of Heat stuff going on. But obviously the Dolphins being the main storyline between their win over the Bills and, of course, what happened last night in Thursday Night Football. You were just used to it, being a big mouth, that you want to go and you want to react to it right away. Did a new Porpoise pod, which is available now. If you guys can go check it out, download it, subscribe it. I was a little too, I will say I was sad yesterday. I was depressed with what went down on Thursday Night Football. Bummed me out. This has been a year that has been surrounding what Tua Tagovailoa is going to be and what he is going to do in his professional career as a quarterback and maybe the face of the franchise for the Miami Dolphins. And, it really did feel like it was all going in the right direction for him. This felt like a year where, he's got the coach that's supporting him. He's got the weapons. He's, taking big shots down the field. And, for national TV, his first national TV game of the year against Joe Burrow, for it to end like that is it's just a gut punch. It's a gut punch, not just because of your team, but you feel bad for the player, you feel bad for the person because you know that he has a lot riding on this season as well. And I think probably part of the reason that he was out there last night is that he was probably pushing through a lot to go and play that game. I think the thing that's been missed in all of this, and I haven't heard a lot of discussion about, is because everybody has been so gung-ho on proving that the Dolphins lied about a concussion and that they skated protocols. And I really don't think that happened. Did Tua hit his head and something minor happen? Maybe. It definitely was a scary look, but the Dolphins did acknowledge that he had a pretty gnarly back injury that was affecting him and that was going to affect him going into this game. And he was on the injury report all week. And if it was a normal week of practice, there may have been there may have been practices that he would have sat out. They thankfully got to go into a run where they got to go through estimations and all that. So I just think that it's so unfortunate that when you do worry about this stuff, and I did mention this in some of my videos in the lead up to this, is that I just thought the Dolphins were in a position where they didn't have to rush Tua back for this game. I think the Thursday Night Football games suck. That could be, one thing we could everybody's mad at the Dolphins. And to some degree, I get it. You have to find somebody to be mad at. Some of the stuff I'm hearing is super kooky, like former professional wrestlers saying the Dolphins should be brought up on murder charges and things like that. I'm like, that sounds like a real wackadoo. But I do think that we could just look in the mirror and say hey, maybe a sport this brutal, this violent shouldn't be played with 3 days of rest between it. I mean, it could just be as simple as that, is that we really shouldn't start this up until there are bye weeks and you could start, manipulating the schedule like that. And that with injuries that weren't even Tua's, that were on this team, you knew it was going to be hard for these guys to muster up the energy to go play that game. And I'm not saying it's the reason they lost. Obviously, Tua being out is a huge reason that they lost this game, but it's just not the same product. You have logos and you have pomp and circumstance and you have all of this, Amazon Prime and these new broadcasters and all this sizzle to bring to the table, but you don't have as good a football game. Even the Bengals did not play a great football game last night, being healthier than the Dolphins. So hearing everybody be so mad today, I just think that one of the big, causes of all this was that you had a banged up player who was not all the way recovered from a back injury that was on the report, and then got slammed right on his back and head once again after falling on it the week beforehand. So and the back, head, neck, they're all they're all connected. And it led to something really bad. And I thought that, I get why Tua wanted to play this game. I could hear it in his voice in the lead up to this game that he was not going to sit out games. Mike McDaniel even said today, when he spoke to Tua that, Tua was already talking about, like, I don't want to miss any games. And I get it. This guy has his future on the line this year, the investment that you have. And this has been really every year of his career where there's been some kind of physical hang-up for him that has caused him to miss time. And whether they're his fault or whether his body can handle it or whatever, it's just been unfortunate. It's been misfortune for him. And so that's why I get Tagovailoa wanting to go out there and push through everything that he can and push through discomfort and push through a back injury, push through an ankle injury, and go out there, even if he is a little bit hampered and not himself, which I didn't think that he looked like himself, and try to do what he can to go out there and win for his team. And I do think that you can see, based on the way everybody's reacted, that this was an individual who he means a lot to his team. And there were like things this week about, Tua doesn't have like the leadership of Jalen Hurts, I think was on Jet Up this week. And I'm like, that's stupid. He very clearly has a lot of love and support from his teammates. And that was really tough to watch. It was tough to hear Mike McDaniel today because, everybody's coming after him. There are people calling for him to be fired. People want, somebody to be punished over this. And, I genuinely heard somebody who I thought was shook up by what happened, and I don't think was up to anything evil.
I don't know. I don't think I'll ever be comfortable. I'll ever get used to. It will never feel normal for me personally and the type of person I am that I know you guys are just starting to learn, is I'll never be comfortable with a player getting carted off the field. Ever. It's something you never want to be a part of. And when I put myself there, this is what happens. It's not fun. I'm just really, really, really glad that he's that I can hear normal Tua in his voice, and I know his teammates that have talked to him feel the same way.
Yeah, and Mike McDaniel talked a little bit about the idea that this is somebody that he's grown close with. And you can tell this is a man who shook up. I don't think that's a man who wants to put Tua in harm's way. But I do think that we have seen now this is a guy who wants to push through a lot to try and get through this season. And I do think that, maybe the Dolphins, if anything, I think they could have been more responsible in that he wasn't physically right to play that game. And he probably shouldn't have been playing that game, that quick a turnaround, based on the beating he took the game beforehand and how he wasn't physically right and that he played that game where he said that he couldn't throw. I think that is fair criticism for the Dolphins. Them skating what appeared to be a concussion. Dude, I'm not a neurologist. I'm not a doctor. They have a lot of them. Is there some guy with an evil mustache who's twisting it? He says, "Yes, Tua, you're clear. Yes." I don't know what the hell that was. But the point is, I don't think that's the case. I think that, he fell on the back of his head kind of bad, enough to maybe, give him some bad symptoms and maybe messed up his back. And then the next time around, this one was obviously catastrophic. It was a really, really bad hit. And, it's tough because now, have Mike McDaniel who's out here and he's saying that, Tua's got a headache right now. They're getting an MRI on him to see where things are at. He did sit with him on the plane last night for 20 minutes. They watched MacGruber, which, okay. And from this standpoint, yeah, it's a tough thing that happened yesterday. And it kind of, one of the things I think it does for a lot of people is, it opens your eyes to the sport and how crazy this is and what these guys are putting their bodies through. And I think there's like a level of I feel guilty that I'm watching this and I want somebody to be mad at over this. And I think the NBA, I think the NFL has gone through, a little bit of a cleaner time as far as not taking the criticism that they have for the physicality that this sport brings to the table. There's 17 games now for whatever reason there needs to be. There's more football when there doesn't need to be more football. There's more football games during the week when there doesn't need to be more football games during the week. We were all fine with our games being on Sunday and Monday and the occasional Saturday down the road for the season, but there was no need to add regular Thursday games every single week of the season so we could just have more football to gamble on. And if anything, I hope that this allows football to kind of take a look at, hey, maybe we shouldn't be having these guys play an insane amount of games that close together, because this is what can happen. It could leave your players in very vulnerable positions where they get hurt. I think the Bills are going to have a tough time playing the game they're going to play. They had a full damn week, and trust me, their fans will let you know about it, everything that they had to go through. Jesus, a bunch of crybabies. But I think that is the thing that I hope opens everybody's eyes. It's like, man, Thursday Night Football is pretty stupid. And, Tua having to push through all the pain that he had to play through with what was disclosed as a back injury and an ankle injury and what people think was undisclosed head injury. The idea that he had to go play that game in 4 days is stupid. And the NFL really, really, they won't, because Jeff Bezos is sitting in that press box or that luxury box with Roger Goodell looking like Lex Luthor. So it's not going anywhere. I understand. But, maybe teams will be smarter about using their NFL schedule, because there are 17 games now. And especially if you're in a luxury position like starting off a season 3-0, maybe teams will be smarter about holding back players in those certain positions, because this season has become more of a marathon than you think that it is, because of the way that they've shaped up with the more games, the schedule of the games, and all that type of stuff. But, very happy to hear that, Tua sounds like he is, acting like himself, and that all the internal damage is at a minimum right now, and that he has a quick recovery from this concussion, and that he, gets back to doing what he obviously loves to do. I don't know what the appropriate time is for that, because that was vicious to see him carted off the field like that. It was something that nobody likes to watch, and especially I think everybody here is Dolph fans feeling very upset about it, because everybody's rooting for the guy. He's impossible not to root for, and then on top of the fact that you have everybody coming at your organization and very mad at you, and calling for crazy things like lawsuits and firings and all that type of stuff. But all in all, you just hope that, Tua is going to be okay. And yeah, selfishly, I do want to see him play football again this season, because he got off to a hell of a start and I think was shutting a lot of people up. So, I hope they take their time with it. Like, I do hope that this time around he gets the proper recovery that he needs, full body, head, back, all of it, so he can be the best Tua Tagovailoa the next time that he's out on the field, because that was definitely scary to watch.